Thank you, man.
Nice. Hey there, Sam Ashers, and welcome to Sam Ash Live. We're here with our good friend Victor from Line 6, taking a look at the new and improved, the hottest, the new Line 6 Spider 5. Yes, so Victor, you were just playing the Spider 5. You got these lush, amazing tones out of it. So just give me the rundown. I was actually a Spider 1 owner back in the day.
Yeah,
so it's kind of cool to see that we're up to 5, because that was like, that had to have been 10 years ago, something like that.
Decades ago, man. Yeah,
it was a while.
So it's been a minute. They've come a long way for sure. It's I mean, the breakdown is just, it's the most we've ever put into a Spider. So it's
really,
for those guys that are familiar with the Spider, you know, it's or you're probably familiar with the idea that it's just taking, you know, as many things as we can get, put it into one little convenient box, and just kind of, you know, getting versatility, getting a ton of different sounds. It's a modeling amp with tons of effects built in, and that's what it's always been. It's just now taking that idea and just sort of pushing it as far as we can.
Nice.
So without a doubt, more stuff in this little guy than we've had in any of our Spiders previous.
So like, how does the Spider really? Because like Line 6 progressed way farther than I did since my first Spider. I mean, we had like pods. Things like that. Do we still have the pods, the HD pods and things like that?
Yeah, so there's still pods, and they exist in, you know, various forms. The Pod HD 500X is one of the most current. There's other floorboard processors we have. We've got you know, newer processors like the Helix.
Right.
So we do have a lot of products, and they span the whole gamut. The Spider 5 is our modeling amplifier. So it's the big thing is it's the hardware. It's the speaker as well as all the modeling and multi-effects.
Right, because I was going to ask, like, compared to the Spider 5, like, are there the same sounds? Are they different sounds? Like, what's the trade-off?
So we actually have, right now, there's a couple different sound sets. It's kind of the easy way to break it down, where the Spider 5 is what's called our classic sound set. And that's, if people are familiar with Pod Farm, it's all that era of tones now placed inside the...
Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties in this wonderful age of technology. So many things go right all the time, but every once in a while things go wrong. So I'm not exactly sure where we left off. But just to reiterate, welcome to Sam Ash Live. We're here with Victor from Line 6, checking out the Spider 5 and all the newest and greatest improvements from the 5. Yeah. So Victor, from 4, now we're at 5. What's the biggest change? Where are we at?
All right, so the biggest upgrade is, or the easiest one to kind of take in, is the numbers thing. So with the Spider 4, we had 16 amp models.
Wow.
And 20 effects built into it. And there's plenty of versatility with that.
Are these Line 6 amps or like vintage amps too and stuff like that?
The way we do it is just through all of our products, it's based on something that exists in the real world, right?
Okay.
You can usually guess what they are by the name.
Sure,
of course. Just different enough kind of thing.
It's fine.
So there's all the usual suspects, right? We do the American clean styles. We do tons of the British amps. We do a lot of the modern high gain, American
that kind of
high
stuff.
gain. Yeah, Tweed, you know, the Class A amplifiers. So we've got the whole gamut usually. So we went from that 16 amp 20 effects model list to now we're up to 78 amps.
Wow.
101 effects, and that's, you know, all different categories. There's gain-based effects, modulations, reverbs, delays.
That sounds overwhelming.
So there's a lot for sure.
Like I'm going to sit there, and first you go through all the amps, then you go through every effect and parameter within the amp, and then you move on to delay.
That's the idea. We got tons of stuff if you just want to find your foundation.
That's awesome.
I think a lot of people kind of do that, where they'll, you know, you get into the amp for the first week you have it, and you play through every single noise you can make.
No, it's overwhelming in a great way, because that's what you want. You're buying your next amp, you're getting a modeling amp, you want it to have models. I mean, that's the whole point.
That's the idea.
So how great is that?
So it's, as much as we can put into a little box.
Fantastic.
And so, and then being that we have that many options, one of the biggest differences between the 4 and the 5 is we've redone the front panel. So hopefully the idea is that it's a lot easier to use, and you don't really have to menu dive and kind of read through a manual for a couple hours before you get into it.
Yeah, that's always nice. Very user-friendly, easy to approach.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome.
I can just show that really quickly. It's
feel free, please.
Basic idea for you guys who are, you know, just kind of checking out the amps. Maybe you walk into a store and see one for the first time. I guess the most important sort of knobs that you'll run into, the one directly underneath the screen, just scrolls through presets. And if that's all you want to do, is just run through a bunch of different sounds quickly. All the effects are changing, all the amps, the cabinets, all the mics, everything's sort of dialed in for all these presets. Then if you want to get into it and play around with what's in the preset,
Right.
128 presets on the amp, you can customize and overwrite any of these.
Nice. Okay.
So,
very cool.
We have a simple sort of a two-sided way to do it. We have these two editing layers, what we're calling them.
All right.
One is just for adjusting the amp. And
Okay.
that's what I think most people are sort of familiar with. It's kind of the traditional layout, right?
Yeah,
Got
standard EQ knobs.
Yep, so drive, your EQ, and your volume.
Very comfortable with
That's
those knobs.
When it's lit up in white, you press the little amp button, that's what you're editing.
Right.
The secondary button underneath that amp button says effects, and when you press that, you notice it goes to a color.
That's
coding
really cool, man. That looks nice. That's sleek right there.
So it's the idea the knobs are pulling double duty. There's
There you
nothing,
go.
not a ton of
Color-coded.
knobs that kind of get overwhelming on the front.
Nice. I like that.
And then within this, it's just simply turn up the knob to get more or less of the effect.
Cool. Simple.
And that's
clean, easy.
That's the quick, easy way to go about editing, right?
Nice.
All the parameters are kind of decided for you. You just decide if you want more or less of that effect.
But there's a harder, more complicated way.
Of course, that's the idea. It's because there's tons of guys that this might be their first experience into
Okay.
figuring out what a
Yeah.
flanger sounds like. And,
Sure.
What's that weird sound that the Edge does for.
Yeah,
When
we
Streets Have
always
No
take
Name.
that for granted, right? Like it was Stan Lee. They're like, why do we always have to put the recap in the front of what these superheroes are doing? And he's like, new believers, every comic is someone's first comic, right? So this could be someone's first amp. You take that for granted sometimes.
Exactly. So it's for those guys, I do think it's a cool learning experience. You can get in there and
Absolutely.
kind of figure things out without really knowing much
Awesome.
about signal flow or effects or how it all works. Just simply
Yeah.
scroll the knob, turn a couple things. It's instant gratification, right? You change
Right.
the knob, something just pops up, and you've got a whole
Sure.
new sound.
Awesome.
For the guys that are a little more experienced in it, and you want to get in and have full control over your sound, it's every parameter is available. So
Right.
it's and that's just if you move over slightly to the right, there's a simple edit button.
Awesome.
And by pressing that, you can jump in, you can change the amp model, you can adjust, every single parameter on the delay, whether it's the number of repeats or the mix of it.
Sure. So-
And one of the cool things too is on Spider 5 we get up to 5 effects at a time. So you've got your amp model plus the effects you want to pile onto it, right?
Yeah.
Those can also be reordered. So say you want to have just this wild ambient thing with 3 delays stacked on top of each other, you can do that.
Nice.
If you'd like to mix it up and have a distortion followed by a modulation, then a delay, you can do that. So it's-
That's really cool. See, because some people might not know, but like your pedal chain, where you put effects in the chain can affect certain things. The one that I noticed most is where you put, say, like your phase 90 sound, pre or post distortion. It has very different colors. Now, all the other stuff, it's a little more subtle, and it takes those people that have been playing for 50 years or just really have great ears to hear it. But that one is most obvious to me. That really swooshy phase 90 before after distortion is very different. So that's cool. You
So
can
you
reorder
reorder
them.
the effects, right?
That's awesome.
Every effect also has the option to go post or pre, meaning in front of the amp or after the amp, where again it has a completely different sound.
Sure.
And so it's kind of a cool thing. Instead of having to spend a lot of money and invest in a bunch of things to play with, you've got it all kind of built into the box and kind of learn things that way. So it's a cool discovery
I
thing
love
for
it.
sure.
That's awesome. So how many Spider 5s do we have in the line?
All right, so the family of Spider 5s is 5 amplifiers.
Okay.
And the idea here is they all have the same sound set. As you move up the line, they get bigger, right? And so
Nice.
it's obviously the speaker gets bigger, you get a little more power. which
What do we
means
have here
a little
with
more
us?
volume.
Is
The one
this
we're
the-
messing with today is the Spider 560.
Is that the smallest one?
So it starts with the Spider 530.
Okay.
Then we have the 60 watt, the 120 watt, the 240 watt, which is a 212, so
Right.
stereo.
Okay.
And then we have the 240 HC, which the HC stands for head combo.
Nice.
The idea, it's a 240 watt head, which it'll power a cab like you would traditionally expect. What's cool about it, this is like a brand new feature. I don't think I've seen any other company do this. The head itself has speakers in it.
Oh, that's clever.
So on its own, it's a 50
Wow.
watt standalone combo amp.
Okay.
Right, so just more convenience. It's
Right.
You want to play with your buddies, you leave the cab at the practice space
Sure.
or in your buddy's garage or whatever it might be, and you just bring the head home and you've got a stereo practice amp.
See, think about that. See, not Victor, I don't think. I don't think you're a Northeast guy. Are you a Northeast guy?
from
you are a
Boston.
Northeast guy.
I don't have the accent, but
Yeah, me neither, man. Well, I'm from the South, but I live here now. But, we build our studios in these New York apartments surrounded by tenants who have been living there for 20, 30 years. You can't make a lot of noise. So imagine if you had a head that you can record with, that you can practice with. So you go from record mode straight into the computer, which I'm sure you'll let us get into here in a second. We'll talk about that. And then if you just want to switch it to the speakers and just get a little volume to see what you're doing instead of having to monitor everything in the headphones, game changer.
Yeah.
Line 6, hashtag game changer.
That's the one. We're going viral with it, dude.
That's it.
And that to me is like a big thing. It's obviously for the beginners, we've got a lot, right? You get a lot in this package. It's a cool way to jump into it and kind of explore and learn about all these different things.
Right.
For a lot of guys that, you're playing out constantly or you're recording constantly, you're a working musician, most people have, a rig that they gig with, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, especially New York, Boston, all these big cities, you live in a small apartment, those gigging rigs aren't so, they're not friendly. You get the wife and neighbors pretty mad at you, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it's, by the point you get it sounding good, it's well beyond reasonable sort of bedroom volumes. So this has something to offer those guys too. Again, you just bring that head home, or you just have a smaller combo amp just sitting in your room, and that's your practice gig. It's your
this is discouraging. For months, I just didn't even turn my amp on, It's like you just run it through your interface or something, which is never the same. Pulling up those, I don't know, I shouldn't talk bad about them, but just plugging it right into the interface and it's just not the same as an amp, you know what I mean?
A small speaker an inch away from your ears it's always a different experience.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, for recording, it's great. When you listen back to it later and you mix it, that's awesome. But yeah, just for that practice, I just want to get better experience.
That's the idea. It should be fun.
Huge.
Should be something you want to pick up and keep playing.
Yeah. What else you got for us?
So, as some more upgrades, some of the new features we have on Spider 5. All the Spider 5s allow you to directly record from the amp. So you briefly mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is, again, for the guy who's just getting into recording, it's maybe his first time kind of playing with guitar tones and might not have an interface, you might not have monitors. This will kind of fill in those gaps, right?
Nice.
So it's just one USB cable, plug the amp into your computer, it's all plug and play.
Yeah, I actually took a look at that back, which is really cool because I know people personally who do all of their recording literally on their iPad. They have mics that go straight to the iPad. And this, not only does it have Mac, Windows, Android connectivity with, I never know what they're called, the bigger USB cable, but you also have an iOS connectivity,
right,
which is rad. So you can take your amp and record on iPads.
So here's some, so this is where it differs. The connections in the back actually do a couple different things.
Okay.
And so for recording, we're strictly USB to PC or Mac right now.
Okay.
The reason we have a connection for iOS and Android devices is because you can use those as a different way to edit.
Nice. Okay, cool. So now you have the on-screen touch stuff, but now you're saying that we can take those parameters and now edit them on our iPad. So that's pretty huge too. So actually, if you're at a gig and you have one of those iPad mounts, instead of being like floor or amp, now you can have it right in front of you.
In front of
That's
you. The idea
cool.
is you just plug into the back of the amplifier. Every parameter that you have available to you that you can edit from the front of the face or from the face of the amp is also available just right there. Just drag your finger across it and edit all your tones. Cool thing about that too is anything that you make, anything that you tweak, you can save it. You can save it to the hardware. You can also save it to your device.
Oh, nice.
So that way you just bring your phone anywhere in the world, and your buddy's got one of these amps too. You just show up at his house and drop your presets in there, and you're good to go.
You know what's cool about that? I don't know why, but I've always been the guy that when you edit stuff on the amp, I never want to save it because it makes me feel weird. Like, no, it's factory. I can't change the factory settings. So the fact that you can save it on your device now is really cool. I would be totally fine saving it on my device. That's awesome.
And so, and to kind of go along with that, there's tons of people that do love the iOS device or doing it on your phone or an iPad or an Android device, whatever it might be. There were a whole bunch of guys that asked us for a desktop editor. And so we just recently launched that as well. So just another way to sort of visually edit your sounds. And the big thing with that is really cool is while you're recording to your computer over USB, you can also edit at the same time.
Nice.
So that was a big thing for us.
That's awesome.
Just taking feedback from a lot of our customers and sort of giving the guys who've already put the money into it something cool, man.
That's great, man. Innovating, just moving forward, keeping all the good stuff and just refining the rest. That's awesome. So you have this awesome floorboard here too. Were you about to get into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like I was saying, there's the 5 different models.
Right.
They do have some add-on stuff. One of the biggest ones is being the FPV3 floorboard. You guys see here this nicely colored up, sort of bright LED thing we got going on. And this just gives you performance control, right? If you're practicing, you're jamming in your room, the amp is, might be all you need. But if you want to bring this out and jam with buddies, get a little more control over some of that functionality, FPV goes a long way.
Totally.
So, if you guys can see it, it's the top row is color-coded, and those line up with the effects knobs. And I don't know how familiar you are with some of the Line 6 stuff we've been doing as far as effects. We have this sort of Line 6 internal color code.
Right, I've noticed that.
So it's across a lot of our products. If you see green, you know it's going to be a delay.
Right.
If you see orange, it's going to be reverb. A lighter orange is a gain-based effect, like a compressor or a drive or an fuzz or distortion. And blue is going to be modulation.
I have an M5 on my pedal board right now.
Exactly.
And so I know the colors very well, so that's cool.
So within every single one of these presets, you have the ability to turn on and off those effects just by stepping on it. It'll dim out.
Perfect.
But the idea is, without even knowing what's going on in this particular preset, I can just look at the board and I know I've got a modulation here. I know I've got some sort of delay here.
Right.
So it gives you a cool little basis.
Huge. That's
Then
awesome.
the bottom row is for changing presets, which is just, everything changes. All the effects, the amp model, the cabinets, whatever it is. And then you've got your bank up and down buttons to kind of help you navigate just a little more quickly through all the presets.
So if you have like a set, you're playing like 10 of your songs or something, you're saying you can line those up, all those presets at the bottom, and then like if you run out, you just up, down, arrow, go to the next set. So you got your A1 set, your A2 set.
So it's kind of cool. It's like the best of both worlds. Where
That's rad.
You've got the bottom row, the A, B, C, D, which switches your presets. And then when you're in the middle of the song, if you just need a little boost or a little more distortion or whatever it might be, all of a sudden you want to go from an ambient to a very dry sound, you just click those individual effects on and off. So it's kind of giving you the modeling world with presets on the bottom and the stomp board or the stomp box sort of pedal board on the top.
So these boards are sold separately to work with a few of your amp models.
So it's the standard Cat 5 cable, which Line
Right.
6 tends to use on a lot of our products. So this will function with older spiders as well as the current spiders.
Nice.
It will function with the Pod HD, the Rack Mounted Pro, or the little bean-shaped guy.
Awesome.
So it's meant. The idea is if you buy one of the floorboards, it's compatible with more than one product.
Yeah.
So it kind of allows our customers to sort of shift in and out and kind of check out other things without having to sort of reset and buy all the accessories over again.
That's great, man. That is great. So I definitely want you to get into some sounds, but I want to make sure you get out everything that there is to say. I don't know if there's more about the Spider 5 that you can excite us with.
So this is another one of the coolest things, and again, I don't think I've seen any other amplifier company or any other amplifier offer this. It's the idea that built into the Spider 560 and above, so the 60, the 120, the 240 combo, and the 240 head, we have a digital wireless receiver already in the amp.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Some of you guys might have noticed. I've just got this little
That's
guy
what you're
plugged
using
into the
now.
bottom.
Nice, that's awesome.
So it functions with our Relay G10T transmitter. These are sold separately, but they're also available as part of it's the G10 system.
Man, how cool is that? So there's nothing to mess with in the amp. It's already built in. That is hashtag game changer.
Again,
that's my new Line 6 hashtag.
Trying to put as much stuff as we can in there. So it's
that's incredible, man.
You guys will notice there's no popping and clicking.
That's like one of the coolest features I've seen.
It charges directly off the amp. Plug it in, you're ready to go. There's nothing to do. There's no channel selection.
So you plug that into the amp and it charges it?
Yep.
Wow.
Just plug it into the input jack. It'll charge, and when you're ready
cool.
to go, you just pull it out.
Nice.
It's like I was kind of pointing out, it's got a nice little self-mute button, so there's no popping and clicking.
Okay.
While you're trying to find.
Is that something you have to activate, or as soon as you go to pull it out?
As soon as you plug it in, it'll arm itself.
Okay.
And you're good to go.
Nice.
So
do you know about how long to charge, or not that it matters?
I believe a full charge goes from completely dead to 100% in about 2 hours.
Okay.
And it's a lithium-ion battery, so it tends to get most of its charge right off the bat, And then that last little bit takes a little longer.
Right. And how long do you have on it?
8 hours of use.
Man, so you can play gigs for a whole week.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 2 gigs.
That's the idea.
Depends on how much
you can at least get a gig out of it. You can get tons of practice sessions. And if you happen to just put your guitar down and you forget about it, it does have a sleep mode.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
It'll actually just put itself to sleep, put it on standby, and then you've got much more, battery life, and you can get to the gig still.
Right. As we all know, when you leave stuff plugged in, generally it starts to drain. You know what I mean? So that's cool that it just sleeps.
Nice little fail-safe.
So you play a gig. If you have another gig that afternoon, plug it in for a little bit, or not even. I mean, 8 hours. That's huge. That's tons of time.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
I forget what the number is when it goes to standby,
So
but it's over 100 hours. It's just you forget about it. You don't have to worry about showing up to the gig and it doesn't work.
Right. So. Yeah. Excellent.
So that's that. And then again, as you move up from in size, some of the other features we actually added XLR outputs to the back of the amp. So the Spider 5 120 and up give you the ability to just plug in directly. So if you're just looking for more sound reinforcement through a PA, you got the amp for your stage volume. Your bandmates can hear you. It's moving air behind you. Sort of what people are used to. And you can run those XLR outs, the stereo pair of XLRs, right into the front of the house. So
amazing.
So it definitely gives you a lot of versatility.
So you can go straight to the PA, you're saying, straight to the board?
Yep, with the Spider 5, 120, 240, and 240
So you don't even need a cab anymore. Are you saying it will still work with the cab is what you're saying?
Yeah, so the cab
you'll still
functions,
hear it
yeah.
for you.
Or you can just,
I
sit it out.
see.
So
And
it's,
they can still put it in the monitor too if they want, so your guitar
That's the
sound
idea.
can just be so dialed.
So it's kind of taken like one of the benefits of like the pod and that whole world is, you go direct with it, it's convenient. But if you want that stage volume, you've got the amp sitting right there too. So
You know, the only thing I don't like about all this is that Line 6 is making it too easy now. That means
they're spoiled, man.
more
Guitar
people are
players.
going to flood the market. It's going to be easier to be a talented musician now. We're going to have more gigs, more people taking the gigs that I want to play because their guitar sounds so perfect in the PA.
I'm all for it, man. We need more guitar players out there, more
Game
guitar
changer.
Let's bring them back,
Game
man.
changer.
Let's bring
awesome, man.
guitar back to music.
That's so rad. So, I mean, we're just living in such a wonderful age, man, with awesome companies like Line 6 that are making it so easy for us to sound awesome at these gigs. It's just great. That's incredible.
Cool. And then before we really start diving into it,
Yeah.
just one more feature I want to bring up, and this is
One
kind of
more.
a cool thing again. Guys looking for that convenient all-in-one thing.
Totally.
There's a ton of practice tools built into it, which is kind of a cool thing,
Really?
right? So it's
Okay.
there's a metronome,
Nice.
which is
You need it?
invaluable for guitar players.
That's
It's-
right.
Get yourself a metronome if you don't already have one, or pick up a Line 6.
Yeah,
Line
and
5,
use
you
it,
got
man.
it built in.
You know,
Yeah, turn it
use
on.
your
Play with the metronome.
Yeah, try it.
There's built-in drum loops,
Oh, cool.
and then there's also a 60-second looper on the Spider 560 and above.
Awesome.
So just again, cool ways to just mess around with some chords, learn how to play over it. It's a really cool thing to actually make music. And I know how many of us just sit there and noodle around all day,
Absolutely.
and so unproductive, and we get nothing done, and we're wondering why we're in these ruts.
I feel like you mentioned that in the perfect order, too. It's like metronomes to learn how to play in time, and then grab some drum loops to learn how to be creative and play with an ensemble, and then learn how to loop, which is just so rad, because loopers are so much fun. You can have a whole universe of sound with just you and your guitar, but you got to be right on beat one, you know what I mean? Have really good timing. So if you use that metronome, it's perfect.
It's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
It's almost like
convincing.
you work for Line 6.
Could be. But yes, that's the deal. That's again, just to reiterate, like all the Spider 5s, regardless of which size you pick, they have that same sound set in them.
Mm-hmm.
They all have the practice tools. They all have the ability to record, directly over USB. They come with a free DAW. It's
Really?
You register
Which DAW?
You register the product, and we give you Cubase LE.
LE, nice.
And so it's just a really good way for guys. Again, just giving you as much as we can.
I love Cubase. You know why? Like if you're a Windows user, or wait, can you run Cubase on Mac? You can run Cubase
Yeah, you
on
can run
Mac.
Cubase on Mac.
Absolutely. It's just so user friendly. Anything that it assumes you're trying to do, it is the thing you're trying to do. It just like figures it out for you. You know what I mean? I love Cubase. It's so
Perfect
simple.
for me because I have no idea what I'm doing.
I know.
Once you
It's
get in
like
that
I just want to
recording room.
record guitar, hit the button, it works.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's cool, man. Yeah, just lots of
So
stuff.
you're saying
lots of
there's
add-ons.
no bad choice in the Spider 5 family?
And the idea is you just pick sort of whatever workflow or whatever size you kind of have as a requirement. And that's we got
Absolutely.
an amp for just about everybody, I think.
Killer, man. Well, thank you for taking us through that. That's awesome. You gonna show some
So
sound?
yeah, well, I guess we'll play around with a couple sounds.
Please
and,
do.
So let's see. We'll start.
Take us through some of your favorites.
So of course we got tons of effects, right? So we want to
Yeah.
play around with. Right now, this just happens to be. It's based on an Incubus sort of tone.
Nice.
And it's so we got tons of delay, we've got a little bit of reverb, and we've got this cool modulation effect, so all the repeats sort of get affected, right? But of course that can kind of get in your way if you're trying to play something a little more rhythmic. So again, if we want to turn anything off. So inside of that preset, again, I can turn things.
That's really cool because, a lot of times if you build like a big chain of sound and you just click off one thing, sometimes it's like, oh man, that completely changed it. But that still sounded lush and nice, so that was cool.
And then, then if you want the completely, drastically different sound, that's when the preset comes in. And we jump to something that's a little more gain, a little more, happens to be a little Eric Johnson-y, right?
There you go. The ever mellow. Nice riff, man.
Yeah. Well, even I haven't messed around with this preset in a little while, but just looking down on it, I can tell what I'm about to step on. So there's no worries, right? I know if I want it to go a little more mellow, I get rid of my distortion.
Absolutely.
If I want it to dry up a little bit, I just turn that on and off.
Awesome.
And then,
so simple. Just a couple foot clicks.
one of the things I think we're really sort of, our digital amplifiers in general, the modeling world has gotten, it started off as bread and butter was the high gain thing, right? And so one of the cool things just about this is you can get all that saturation at low volumes, right? So it's the perfect little practice thing at home, so. But the idea is you get all this saturation, you get tons of distortion, and you don't have to crank the amp up. I think that's one of the big things. It's the reason a lot of early adopters.
That sounds great.
And then, on top of that, if you want the lead sounds, you throw on the reverb and delay. If you want it to be drier rhythm sounds, you get tons of stuff to play with. And then, I guess we'll just keep running through a couple things.
Yeah, give us some nice tones. What you got?
Let's see what's up next. So this one's kind of cool. I think I hinted at this one a little earlier. So the idea, those effects aren't locked in. So if I want multiple of the same, if you don't want to have 3 delays in a row or 2 delays in a compressor, you can sort of pull off the double bouncing David Gilmour at the edge sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Such a cool tone.
So tons of cool stuff in there. And the idea, one of the reasons I think that's so cool is that any preset that I make and I save to my account, I can also publish to our tone cloud.
Oh, nice.
Anybody else can look for that preset.
That's
They
cool.
can search it by the guitar player name, or you can search your favorite band name or a song name. And for guys that are just getting into it, again, it's this incredible learning tool where you just type in your favorite guitar player's name. You have no idea what's going on in his rig. You have all these, just a list of other people that are making his tone. You can kind of see what's in there. And like, oh, he's using a flanger, he's using a phaser, or whatever it might be.
You can get Line 6 famous. You can design all these great tones, put them on the cloud, and like people just look for your tones.
It's kind of a cool thing. It's a community sort of resource. And all these guys are just pooling in and
bringing social media to Line 6.
Absolutely, man. That's that's the fun of technology.
With tone.
It's the fun of technology.
That's awesome.
If I run to it, one of the things I tend to overlook is this expression pedal sitting on the side.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I mean, on my first Line 6 Spider 1 in high school, it had the best wah I had ever played and have since ever played. Do we have a wah on this guy?
Yep. So the obvious sort of expression pedal uses are volume and wah. Right. If I want to do the volume.
Incredibly useful.
If I can sit any more awkwardly.
Yeah, I know. The volume is a cool effect, but even if you just use it for practical purposes, I loved being able to be on stage and just kick it down with my foot instead of turning the knob on my guitar.
Yeah. You kind of have two things, and that's another cool thing. And again, it's a learning experience for new guys. Maybe you don't know that rolling down the volume actually affects the amount of gain you have, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But if you place that volume pedal after the amplifier and you roll back the volume that way, you have the same exact tone, same gain, just strictly volume change.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's a cool way to do it, and there's no unplugging all your pedals.
Yeah,
figuring it out.
Makes sense.
But the other side is if I toe click down the way you would expect to on like a traditional wah, it'll switch from volume to wah control. Of course, I still need to bring the volume in.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this before, but Line 6, it just has such a nice throw. I feel like you get a little bit more, which I really like because that's what I grew up, that's what I was used to. So I like having lots of throw in the pedal, so that's really cool.
And even the wah pedals, there's a couple different wahs in there, and they all have their sort of, their own little character, their own frequency sweep. Some of them work really well with clean, some of them work really well with the distortions, which is what you'd find in physical traditional pedal anyway. So it's kind of give you a bunch of things to play around with, and you can really kind of discover what you even like.
That's great, man.
Definitely one of the cool things there.
Sounds so good.
Oh, thank you, man. That's I'll take all the credit for it.
Yeah, thank you, Victor,
No,
for designing these great toys for us.
You're welcome. So I believe that's really sort of sums it up. The big thing to me is if you want the all-in-one thing, the amp by itself perfectly. We've got a couple different ways to edit. But if you, as soon as you move to like those bigger amps, and you're looking to play with other people, you want to jam out and start gigging, it's the FBV really comes into play as far as that. Just a lot of control over your sound, a lot of functionality.
Nice. So yeah, be sure to check out the Line 6 Spider 5 family, and then check out the FBV boards because they're so awesome. We do have a couple things to announce. I think Dave's going to help us here. We have a giveaway that we're doing, and I believe we're giving away a Line 6 Spider 5, right? And then we're also giving away the G10, the relay system. Thank you, sir. This does not explain the giveaway. This is something else. But you see it on your screen. We're doing it through our Spotlight page. So you're going to want to go to spotlight.samash.com/contest/ and then that will get you to the contest page where we have all of our contests. So this awesome thing that you experienced today, you can have one in our contest. You have a chance to win. So definitely log on to that, check it out, because you're not going to want to miss this awesome opportunity just by logging in and entering the awesome contest. So be sure to do that. Let's see, we do have some events coming up, and I'm actually glad our Line 6 representative is here.
Yeah, because we should be having some fun this week, man. So.
Absolutely. One thing that we always mention is the Line 6 Tone Made Pro. It's one of the biggest clinics that we do, and we do it everywhere. So normally it's like out in Canoga Park and stuff like that, but this one we have some right here in the Northeast with our Line 6 family. So yay, it's exciting, right? People are clapping. So Sam Ash Manhattan, NYC, September 26th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Are you doing that one?
That's tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Nice. So you can come down and hang with Victor, the guy from Sam Ash Live. How rad is that? Let's see, September 28th, a couple days later, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Carl Place.
It's me again.
Me as well.
So this will actually be using the Helix LT.
Nice.
So anybody who's sort of looking to get their hands on it, you've heard a lot about it. You want to come down and check it out. Hear it yourself, play it yourself, bring your own instrument if you want to come down. That's
rad.
I mean, the normal presentation that we do lasts about 45 minutes. I tend to hang out at the store right up until close for anybody who has sort of questions and just kind of wants to play it themselves. I think that's a big part of it, right?
Yeah, see, that's so cool. So you get to hear the presentation, and it says understanding the details required to create exceptional guitar tone. Because the more you get into guitar, I mean, if you're a seasoned guitar player, you know this, but you're going to be chasing tone your whole life. How do I get that Eddie Van Halen tone? How do I get this tone? How do I get my own tone? So that's what Victor's going to show you, Tone Made Pro. Learn how to be a tone expert professional, right?
Exactly, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't want to put too much pressure on me.
And for anything that was ambiguous, he'll stay after and talk to you, so definitely do that. We have another Line 6 event, Tone Made Pro, in... here's what's funny. It's in Miami in the Dolphin Mall, but they put Sam Ash Miami Dolphin. So don't go to the stadium, all right? Go to Dolphin Mall.
It's a different event.
Yeah, totally different event. I don't think Miami Dolphins are going to show you how to get professional tone. But that is from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., September 28th. You can't be in two places at once.
It's not going to be
so
me.
That's definitely not going to be you.
It'll be our boy Tony down there. So.
Who's just, well, no, he's not just as rad. Victor's pretty rad, but he's pretty darn rad, so check him out. Other than that, we have a songwriter workshop in Canoga Park, September 26th from 7 to 8 p.m., so head on down, learn how to write an awesome song and become the next Jay-Z, because that's what you want to be. Misha Mansour, I really hope I pronounced that name right.
I believe it's Mansour, but I could be wrong too, because I'm just reading it on the internet. I've never, you don't hear people pronounce things.
I know, well, we're going to take your word for it. Of Periphery, Sam Ash, San Antonio, September 27th from 7 to 9. So
I want to go to that one.
Check that out. We'll see if we can get down there. Also coming back to Houston on September 28th from 7 to 9, Misha Mansour of Periphery. Check that out.
Again, killer player, killer producer, man.
Yeah.
The dude just knows tone. So
you're going to want to see that. You're going to learn a lot just from being, even through osmosis, just seeing them walk and talk and experience their presence is going to teach you things, let alone what comes out of their mouth. So definitely check that out. Free drum lesson Saturday at Sam Ash Canoga Park, Saturday, September 30th, 10 to 10:30 a.m. Go down in the morning, learn how to play the drums, come back later, learn some songwriting, do that sort of stuff. Free guitar lesson Saturdays in San Diego, September 30th, 11 to 11:30 a.m. Free guitar lesson Saturdays, Ontario Mills, Saturday, September 30th, 11 to 12 p.m. Let's see, free drum lessons from Chris Sears. You get a Chris Sears drum clinic, Sam Ash, San Diego, not San Antonio, different part of the country. San Diego, September 30th, 12 to 1. The Gibson Bus Tour, sharing the new, this is handwritten, I'm sorry, sharing the new 2018 Gibson guitars in Sam Ash Richmond. RVA, baby. That's my favorite Sam Ash in the whole world, and I live here in the Northeast, but I love Richmond. 55, RVA for life. Free keyboard lesson Saturdays. Did I announce when that was? The Gibson Bus Tour, Saturday, September 30th from 2 to 6. Go check that out. You're going to want to see that. Free keyboard lesson Saturdays, Sam Ash Canoga Park, September 30th, 3 to 3:45. Free guitar lesson Saturdays, Sam Ash Canoga Park, Saturday, September 30th, 4 to 4:45. Customer Appreciation Day. Haven't seen this one in a while. Special deals, live entertainment, giveaways all day long. Where is it? Sam Ash, Ontario Mills, October 1st, 11 to 4 p.m. Definitely check that out. I mean, special deals, live entertainment, giveaways all day long. They specifically wrote all day long. So hang out all day. If you don't get the first one, maybe we'll get the next one, next one, next one. Check that out. That's super rad. International DJ Cafe, IE Chapter Turntable Session. That's a huge name for an event, but it sounds exciting. So definitely check that out. DJs in SoCal show off skills and give tips about gear and getting gigs. How huge is that? So you're at home, you finally honed your DJ skills, but you don't know how to get gigs? Check these guys out. They're going to show you how to get gigs. How great is that? Then you can make money. You can become some famous DJ person. You can own part of the Barclays Center and just be amazing. You can be that person. Do that. That is Ontario, Ontario Mills, October 1st. That's during Customer Appreciation Day. So here's what happens. From 11 to 4 p.m., you get appreciated as a customer, and you get all the giveaways. And then from 4 to 7:30, you get to learn how to get gigs as a DJ. How awesome is that?
It sounds so bad, man. I like that.
It's amazing.
It's really cool to see you guys doing a lot of that, like, educational stuff.
I know.
Man.
We have so many events that it's crazy all over the nation. I mean, Canoga Park kills it. I hate to say it, but, I mean, they just do all of our events. It seems like you say Canoga Park 1,000 times, but that's great. We love our folks at Canoga Park. We have one last thing to announce, though. Right here in Sam Ash's home of Brooklyn, New York, because I believe that's where I know that's where the first Sam Ash store was open. We have an event coming up called Fear the Riff. It's NYC's first annual, Victor.
All right.
The first one.
Getting in at the ground level here, boys.
That's right, man. The first one, Effects Pedal and Guitar Expo. Brooklyn Expo Center, 79 Franklin Street, Brooklyn, October 7th, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Fear the Riff. What's cool about this, like I said, it's the first one. If you happen to be in the Northeast, or even if you can travel up on October 7th, it's the first ever Effects Pedal and Gear Expo. Sam Ash is going to be there in the house running all the registers. So if you see something you want to buy there, we're going to work with all the vendors to let you walk out with it that day. Just come over to our registers. We're going to have Sam Ash Live like we have right here. We're going to have that at the event, so vendors are going to be able to come up. We'll talk to them live. You get to learn about the new stuff that's going on. We actually have a couple players, some local blues musicians lined up to come talk to us about the pedals that they use and how they get their sound and stuff. So it's just going to be an incredible and awesome learning experience. Get your tickets now at feartheriff.com. I think it's /tickets, but I don't want to tell you that. So just go to feartheriff.com and you'll find the link. And you may see a link for some tickets on the Spotlight page. I'm not sure. I know we were doing some ticket giveaways. I don't know if that's over yet, but if you want some free tickets to the show, you might have a chance if you go to spotlight.samash.com, the same place where you can go to check out the Line 6 Spider 5, which we're giving away, as well as the G10. That was a lot of talking. How do you know when we're going to do Facebook, Sam Ash Live on YouTube and Facebook? Definitely check out our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, our Twitter account, and our Instagram account. These are all of our socials. Instagram, we put up beautiful images that our awesome photographers take of all of our awesome gear. Twitter's news and noteworthy stuff. YouTube, all of our greatest product demos, our live stuff. Like Victor and I just did the Helix not like a month or so. Well, no, it's probably longer than that, a few months ago. But anyway, that video is up there. Just tons of stuff, so check that out. And Facebook is just for news and noteworthy and pretty much everything else. But Victor, I cannot thank you enough for being here.
Dude, it's always fun to come in, so I appreciate you having us.
I'm so stoked about the Spider 5.
Yeah, so am I, man. So hopefully we share that excitement with you guys. If you guys want to check it out, I mean, they're all over the place.
Is it out now?
Any Sam Ash you guys want to walk into will have, just about that full array. So.
Absolutely. So if you have any more questions, you can call the call center here at 1-800. Oh, man, 4Sam Ash. I know it's 1-800-4Sam Ash, but I forget the number. There it is, 1-800-472-6274. Go to samash.com or head down to your local Sam Ash store. Victor, thank you once again for coming, man. I'm going to ask you to play us out. So once again, I'm Dave Stutts. This is Victor from Line 6, and we'll see you next time right here on Sam Ash Live.